Hello guys, Ryan Ho back with another video. Today we have some incredible IEMs, and honestly these three are really cool. My favorite one is definitely this one's called a P50. This thing is crazy. It has 5 different drivers in there, and they're really optimized to really get all the detail out of it. And for a 5 driver IEM and for the price, it comes at like about $185. And with its like cable, it comes with like a balance cable too, where you can swap it out. These things are pretty crazy value if you want a lot of detail and a lot of resolution. But we have 3 different ones at different price points to compare for you guys. We have the EPZ Q1 Pro. This one is like pretty crazy. I mean, just look how good it looks. I mean, this thing is like $35-ish. So, I mean, this thing is cheap, but it has really, really good performance. And it looks really good. Nice cable, honestly, nice driver too. Sounds really good for its price. I definitely recommend it a lot. And then of course we have one from Nfacous. This is the NM20. This is their latest kind of redesign of their IEM. It sounds similar, but a lot of improvements from their prior stuff. So we'll talk about that as well. So starting with the cheapest IEM, the EPZ Q1 Pro. This one, like I said, the shell is crazy. It has this nice, like almost water painting kind of a finish. It's honestly mesmerizing. The fact that they can achieve this type of shell for a price of $35 in itself is already a miracle, I think. So if you're looking for something that looks good and feels premium, it's honestly, this one definitely is it. It also has a molded shell as well, which is very lightweight and very comfortable. So this thing, for just the build quality, it honestly competes with things literally like double its price, triple, like things in the $200 price range look like this. And the fact that you can get it for 35 is, like I said, pretty insane. The cable too that it comes with is really nice. This cable is really thin, very lightweight. So when you're putting this IEM in your ear, you don't really feel it, the weight, and it has this nice kind of shiny cable as well. So it comes with a really high quality like build. This thing definitely shows me that EPZ is a very experienced company and they know what people want and giving people a lot of value too. And then this thing actually has a vented driver to like kind of basically for your bass to kind of play and kind of exert its kind of bass. So it's really nice that it has that built in. And these kind of tips it has, I've seen other brands use these similar tips. They're very comfortable, very nice. Comes with 3 different sizes, and that's kind of nice to see. Now, overall, this thing honestly is very comfortable. It's very lightweight. It's very small. I feel like this is probably the best IEM for most people, especially if you're like a competitive gamer. I feel like this one does really well as well. I definitely recommend this for gaming. When it came to a lot of games, I was playing Valorant, and for competitive gaming, I could literally hear all the footsteps and not only how like where they are, but how far they are, if they're above me, below me. This one performed very, very well. And I think it's due to like 2 things. One, it has a single dynamic driver, so it has pretty good imaging, pretty good depth. It has a very capable driver, especially for $30. I would say the driver reminds me of a lot of things that are like $80, $90, $100. So it's a very competent driver. And then the other thing that it does really well is because it's so detailed, as well as it giving you the precise like accuracy where they are, it's really easy to tell like where the enemies are. I feel like the tuning itself, like I feel like the footsteps are almost enhanced on this IEM. Like you can hear exactly where they're stepping all over the place. So it makes it really nice to just like honestly use the game. There's no fatiguing aspect of this. The treble isn't really piercing at all. This is a very smooth IEM. It's very good. You get all the detail with no fatigue. So really this is honestly a very well balanced IEM. I mean, starting down low for bass, this thing has really, really nice bass. You can hear the bass. I would say it does roll off a little bit on the sub bass. That kind of shows a little bit of its more budget aspects. Things like the NM20 definitely performs better in the sub bass, and things like the P50 also do perform better, especially honestly a lot better on the EPZ. It sounds like they strapped in a subwoofer for that one. So in those cases, those do sound better, but I would say the bass of this for its price sounds pretty nice. The mid-range is probably the part I like the most about this one. The mid-range and the vocals sound very forward. You can really hear them. They're very honestly, very honest, very lifelike property to them, and I feel like that really does it really well. I think the mid-range sounds even better than the more expensive NN20. I just like the vocals being kind of front and center on the Q1 Pro. I think it does really well in that aspect. And then when it comes to the treble, I feel like you get all that detail without any of that gritty kind of treble characteristic. It's very clean, clear without being overly done in any way. So I feel like for people who are just blind buying, essentially, this is just an easy recommendation across the board, I think. Now, moving up, we have the more expensive Nfacous of NM20. This thing, honestly, I've heard so many of their stuff, and all their stuff sounds honestly very similar. Tuning wise, it's like they make the driver the same way, but they change some of the properties and some of the things they make it out of. So this one is made of beryllium, so it has a nice beryllium driver that gives it, you know, a lot kind of stronger tension, and it's also lighter weight, so it allows the driver to move faster, giving you better detail. And I definitely hear that over the EPZ, but I feel like in some ways the build quality of this is not as nice as, I mean, the Q1 Pro. Like this thing, I mean, look at it, this thing is made of plastic, while this one has an actual like resin shell that just looks glorious, right? Like the amount of effort this one put in is definitely more than this. However, this plastic build quality does come with some benefits. It's overall just lighter weight, so if you're looking for something that is kind of easy to carry around, this is definitely that. And you know, you're not going to really feel it in your ears. And then the other thing about this one is that I feel like the tuning of it, like I said, is very similar to the other IEMs. Basically, I feel like I've talked about this many times, but the vocals are kind of pushed back in the mid-range, and then the treble around the 5K is kind of boosted. But I feel like the best part about this one is actually the bass. I think they definitely increased the bass, like the punch and the deep sub bass notes. This one has one of the best basses I've heard from Nfacous. I think they did a better job, but I feel like they really need to kind of change their tuning at some point to give it more mid-range and less of that like 5K peak. That's kind of what I would like to see. But you know, I'll show you guys a graph of like what it sounds like compared to all of them, but they all have a similar type of, I guess, tuning response. All right, so the EPZ P50, this thing is the GOAT. This thing sounds so good. This is literally my favorite IEM, I think, right now. This thing has so much detail across the board. It's pretty crazy what they're able to achieve with 5 different drivers. So this thing has the dynamic driver, it has BA drivers, and it also has the planar drivers. And all those combined create this absolutely wonderful sound. So, I mean, down low, this thing has a dynamic driver that, like I said, it sounds like they strapped a subwoofer on it. It sounds super amazing. The sub bass is just like great. It literally sounds so accurate, so detailed, and so punchy. Like you can feel it, hear it. It literally sounds so precise. I feel like that's the part that really surprised me, and there's a lot of it too, so you can definitely hear the sub bass. And I feel like it doesn't overwhelm the rest of the frequency, but it definitely shows that it's there and it's very strong. And then the bass itself is also really good. I guess a lot of people say like Harman tune IEMs. Basically, a lot of these popular tune IEMs kind of suck out the lower mid-range and the bass and gives things a little bit of a weaker hit, and the male vocals don't sound good. This one does not. This one fills that region in very well. So you definitely get a lot of male vocals, lower mid-range, that sound very full sounding. So I really like that aspect of it as well. And then when you move on to kind of mid-range and upper mid-range for this, I think this is the part where this one excels over a lot of also other popular tune IEMs. I feel like in that region, a lot of things used to kind of push it back too much. I always felt like the vocals weren't forward enough, to be honest. It kind of sounds more like the quintet, which sounds like almost V-shaped, like the mid-range is not as present. This one fixes all that by pushing it up very forward. So you hear a lot of the female vocals. They sound like they're singing right in front of you. They're literally so present, everything. Same with the male vocalists. Everything's just very like centered. I would say this is probably a mid-range centric IEM. So if you like a lot of vocals and your mid-range to be very forward, this is definitely it. I would say the con of this IEM, the only con I would say, is that sometimes it does sound like it's like what people call shouty, but the vocals are so forward that they're almost like shouting in your ear in some cases. Very slightly, but sometimes I do hear that from this. But besides that, this thing is incredible. So then moving up to like the higher treble, I don't really hear any like peaks. There's not really piercing sounding at all. And so I find the treble to be pretty smooth in the upper treble, which is pretty good. And yeah, it's a pretty nice sounding IEM. And like, it's worth noting, like when I was comparing this to like the cheaper younger brother, like the bass sound like a subwoofer, the mid-range, the vocals were pushed very forward. You can hear them as if you're in the room. Like the detail level is like off the charts. They sound so clean, so clear. And the treble and like just like the spaciousness of the sound as well, you can definitely hear how each of like the, I guess the musical notes are like easily distinct, and like they're so clear and distinct that you can hear like all of it. And then it also has a bigger, what people call like sound stage, but like you can definitely hear the distance between things as well very well. So I feel like this thing is really a detail monster. Like this is like how you really want to listen to your music. It's really that good. Like I keep saying good things about it because that's really how it feels like when I listen to it. And like I haven't even talked about actually the build quality of this, right? So when it comes to the actual build, like I got so excited and talked about sound first. So if you take a look at it, it has this nice grill, right, of the build, and you can see like the grills, the little holes. It's almost like an open back, but it definitely isolates, so it's not really an open back, but it looks like one. But it's a nice vented design with this nice metal faceplate. On the back, it has this nice kind of resin shell as well. That is very lightweight, easy to wear. It uses the same tips as the cheaper EPZ and even the same type of shell. It's just the difference in the faceplate, right? But then the cable itself is also really nice. This cable is lightweight, but the best part about this cable is you can actually swap the head, which is pretty crazy. So this thing also comes with a swappable tip, so you can actually take the tip off and then swap it with the 3.5mm if you want. So it's kind of cool that it comes with a kind of swappable cable, which is really nice. And honestly, it comes with a balance cable too at its price point, which is also just pretty crazy, right? So this thing definitely brings really good value. And then of course it comes with this nice, like, honestly feels like this premium soft leather type of case. It's probably not real leather, but honestly it feels very nice and looks very nice. Like, look at that. They definitely put a lot of effort into the accessories and everything you get with this. So the EPZ 50 is honestly probably my favorite one. It's easier to listen to on the ears, and the kind of competitive gaming aspect is really easy, and it's also really cheap at like $35. I think this one is going to be probably the most popular one. I definitely recommend this one for everybody. If you're into that or you're looking for something good to especially play games or even to listen to music, honestly, it's really good. Then moving on to this one, the Nfacous. I think the Nfacous is a little bit bright sounding to me. I feel like they could definitely retune this eventually. I think that's probably what I would like them to do. But I would say the driver performance is really good if you're looking for a single dynamic driver that has really good performance. I didn't find it particularly good for gaming though, personally. So, I mean, this one's okay. And then of course we have the EPZ P50. This one is obviously a lot more expensive than Q1 Pro. This one is, you know, about $185, but the accessories you come with basically comes with everything you need. The sound quality is amazing. Like, this thing basically does everything I want. It sounds really incredibly detailed. If I haven't said that enough, I definitely think this is one of my favorite IEMs that I have. And I definitely recommend this one if you're looking for just a top tier resolution. And for gaming, it's really good as well, honestly. Like, it's just slightly a step behind this one. If this one's probably like a 9, this is probably like an 8. So it's pretty good, honestly, for across the board for both of them. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. If you guys check out my other kind of reviews, I've made a lot of IEM reviews, and I have a lot of new stuff coming as well. It's pretty crazy, but like, I just have like all these other reviews I gotta make. But yeah, I have more stuff coming. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.